as usual. I forgot. I prepared the countdown perfectly this time, but I forgot to use it. But
Ah, fail.
classic for me. Oh man. Well, I don't even know what to say about this game. I mean, I have a lot of notes, and I think today will be pretty quick, actually, because even like in most games, there's a lot to like talk about, a lot of events, but this was a little bit of a slow game outside of like a few really awesome bright spots.
Yeah, yeah, slow game. The games against Dallas are always like that. They
Mm,
defend with that low block, and
yeah.
City has a hard time like breaking that down, and that's it. They are good in the counter or take advantage of a mistake here, a mistake there, and
Yeah.
they get the points.
Yep.
Obviously, could have been different. City hit the post a couple of times, starting like at the
Mm.
beginning of each half, but
Yeah. Well, and we'll dig into it. I don't know. I guess I think I have more hope than it sounds like you did in our pre-show talk. Because I see like things working,
hmm.
and yeah,
Oh, I wanna hear about it.
yeah, we'll talk about it. But maybe we should just hit start and go for it. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Welcome everyone to Fallout with Flyover Footy. I'm Phil, and I have my friend Santiago Beltran here, and we have another loss to talk about. So, Santi, it's a little dark this morning. How are you feeling?
Doing all right, Phil. Obviously, it's a little bit deflating when you lose a game like that. And yeah, just looking very quick at the comments from people that join us. Yeah, the team, and you said it too. The team looked good for some moments, but in the end, you end up losing 3-0. And
Mm,
to me personally, for Santiago Beltran, I think that's it. Like, yeah, mathematically still not eliminated, but it will be a lot of games that the team will have to win. And I think this was the game that could have changed things, turn things around, get a second win in a row, and then you get some momentum. But unfortunately, team ended in the losing end, didn't score any goals, and that's it.
yeah, at the end, I think we'll kind of cover this more carefully, but I think this is the game where I thought, well, um, you know, it there will be like reasons to be hopeful still through the end of the season if we kind of won this one and kind of stayed with the group, and I think this was a change. I think we all think the playoffs were always kind of gone at some point, but the points were still kind of close, and so there was reason to kind of be hopeful and go for it. And it seems like perhaps after this game, that is gone. So, but we have good notes today. I think the last Fallout, I was rushing things just to say, I just came into town yesterday from Colorado, and I believe Matt is now in Colorado. So
Hmm.
we kind of, or he's out west in a beautiful spot. I saw some pictures from his wife, Michelle, the last couple of days. So it's been a weird several weeks with Matt and I. We've been kind of exchanging roles and just kind of filling in for each other to get through the season. But I think I'm back, and I think things are going to solidify if you've been kind of weirded out by how Flyover's been lately. And so I think it'll be better going forward. And I'm excited about this show. Like I said, the notes are a little better. I think, it will be doom and gloom, and I think we're going to dig into that. But I do think digging into the doom and gloom will kind of show how things need to be fixed, and even perhaps show that the club's already working on that. So let's dig into it, Santi. Let's start with the kickoff. The starting 11, of course. Berkey in goal. Orozco makes his third straight start. And now he's been signed to the first team, is on one of those 2 free supplemental roster slots that were free before he joined. So that's official. Congrats to him. I know we've covered that here at Flyover pretty well. So he's at left back, Baumgartel and Yarrow at center back. Baumgartel made a return after the injury. I think we were all excited to see that. Totland at right back, Ostrak and Valum at the dual pivot, Betcher on the left, Hartle in the middle, Toyshirt on the right, Klaus up top. Santi, any first thoughts from you about that?
Yeah, I was surprised to see Timo back. Yeah,
Mm.
we knew the target was to have him available for this game, but just based on how other guys had come back from injury, just playing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, he started the game, and he replaced JGR, and JGR have been doing okay the last 2 to 3 games when he took over that starting spot. So not sure what the reasoning was there. Maybe have a more experience center back, but to me it was a surprise to not see JGR starting.
Same here. I think that was my first thought is, I don't know. To me, I'm getting to like galaxy brain moment. Like, what are they thinking here? And Matt, you know, as usual, when I'm confused, I reach out to Matt for some hope. And Matt just thinks perhaps leadership. I wondered maybe, they want to show him off to try to give a team a reason to buy. And no one kind of thinks that's a possibility. But he did have one of his best games, I think, last week. And I would even say, I think Yarrow, I had trouble finding fault in him in this game. But I will just say that JGR, I've been loving his distribution from the back, and I don't think
Hmm.
he's worse than Yarrow, but that may be my eyes. There may be something the coaching staff is seeing in Yarrow that is a lot more solid than JGR, perhaps. Senior leadership, experience, it's all there. I think we've covered that. You guys can all make your own assumptions. I wish I could give you guys more data, and I'm not sure Matt even has data to add to that. So we'll move on. Just to note, no joiner. I don't know if Matt covered the Watford rumors, but Nikai Joyner has a rumor that Watford is interested in signing him. So that's super exciting. That would be a really big stepping stone on the path to St. Louis having a very meaningful and useful academy, and maybe more of that as the season moves on, now that the table is what it is. Anything else, Santi, before we move on?
No, no, I think that covers the starting 11 as we mentioned. Yeah, the big surprise was seeing Timo on the starting 11, and
Mm,
JGR had been solid and was part of a winning team last week.
true.
So yeah, I'm sure there were some specific reasons, but it was just a surprise to me.
Yeah. And I'm just like you, excited that Timo was in the lineup. I thought it would be Timo and JGR, but here we are. Okay. Let's start with some of the notable moments. In the third minute, Totland. So we talk about the lineup, and Totland's been playing high and right, which has been lovely. I've been enjoying it. And the early on, we get exactly what we want to see from Totland playing in that role, with Toyshirt tucking in and hopefully kind of getting himself some touches in the box. So in the third minute, Totland's in behind. There's a switch from Hartle to Hartle, rather. It was awkward because I thought Totland was just going to cross it in. He ends up crossing to the other side of the box, kind of a little bit back from the end line. Hartle's in his spot that I think the team has been trying to find him in, which is kind of between, if you guys follow zones in soccer, zone 13 and 14, kind of just inside the box, a little bit to the side. So he's able to get a touch and then shoot with his right foot. And he did it, went right off the crossbar, which is just heartbreaking, but exciting, right? We're away. We get a really amazing chance in the third minute, thinking, okay, we got a win last week. We're looking right. This is what we want to see, is like continued improvement and just like get on a run. We can make something of this season. Off the bar, unfortunately, and if you've watched the game, this is kind of it's downhill from here.
Yeah, great start, and yeah, you think, oh, game would have been different if City had scored, and Dallas doesn't defend in that low block, but that's what this game is about. You have to score to change things, and it was unfortunate. A good play, but it's just unfortunate that Hartel didn't score. Good play by Totland. Good move by Hartel. on the second post. And it's just I don't know, a little bit of luck not there, and those moments in the end could end up being changed, like moments that change the game. And great start by City, like first 10-15 minutes creating chances, but just when you start so well, you have to capitalize, and that didn't happen last night.
Yep, definitely. And then we see a few chances from Dallas after that, just kind of doing well, even in that early 15 minutes that St. Louis was looking good. Um, but things are fine at this point. In the 5th minute, Volum makes a tactical foul. There are a lot of good play from Dallas, like Hunting and Pax in the midfield. They're kind of deep, kind of middle. And I think St. Louis struggled in the midfield, just losing the ball quite a bit in that area. And that's what they're good at. That's fine. Ballum pulled a tactical foul, which is much more preferential to some of the things we've seen earlier in the season, just expecting it to be defended out. So I thought that was a good move. 6th minute, Dallas carves us up with a long ball. And there was a failure to track Kamungo, who's a good player, very athletic, rooting for him as an American. But I think we've covered this multiple times on Fallout that, these right wings, these speedy players running between a center back and a fullback, it happens all over soccer, but it's been working against St. Louis. And so Kamungo in this case kind of slipped behind Orozco, and it just happens. He missed him. He didn't keep up with him, and he was wide open. And we were lucky that he wasn't able to get on the end of it and make something of it. Anything you want to add before we kind of get into some of the more important things here, Santi?
No, no, let's get right to the play that changed the game.
Yep, 23rd minute Dallas goal. Sebastian Lletget is playing right wing back because of injuries, and boy, did he do well. He puts the ball on his left foot, crosses it over to Musa, obvious player of the game. Spoilers, sorry. Who lays it off to an on-running Kaique Ferreira is the way that they pronounced his name on the broadcast. I will just copy it because I don't speak Portuguese. And he just was not tracked. He was wide open, and this was a late run. He was at full speed pretty quickly. After I watched it several times, Ostrak was kind of tracking him, like doing what he was supposed to do in the right position, which didn't always happen in this game. But he kind of wasn't tracking him and keeping on him and watching him. And so he got past Ostrak. Ostrak was with him, but he just, made no mistakes. Perfect layoff, perfect run, perfect goal. Berkey wasn't even close, even though he tried. What do you think of this, Santi?
Yeah, it was a good run by Ferreira, but at the same time, some frustration because what you mentioned, like Ostrak was tracking him. Also, if you look at the replay, Seri was also there, and yeah, just allowed that run and give him so much time to shoot. That's what you get. Good job by Musa, like holding the ball. That's what a good number 9 does in the box, and yeah, he just held it enough to for Ferreira to create that run, and yeah, just at that point, I think that's when the game changed. Like City was doing things well, but then you get one of those goals, and that's a momentum changer.
Yeah, Musa was incredible in this game. It was actually I enjoyed watching him because he was just head and shoulders above every other player on the field, not just St. Louis, like Dallas players. He is quite good. I think it's the best hold up play I think I've ever seen in MLS in my memory, at least. I thought he was incredible in this game. They were able to a lot of Dallas's danger was just like punting the ball to Musa, and he could do something. So
Mm-hmm.
you hear that about tens a lot. You don't hear that a lot about strikers. So lots more on him today, so I won't belabor the point. In the 40th minute, I don't want to pick on Toy Shirt because I think a lot of players, Roscoe did this, Volum, a lot of players were losing the ball in the midfield, like I said, but he kind of got lost recovering the ball and then switched it to nobody, basically. This happened all around the whole team, but I noticed it from Toy Shirt in that moment, and I think it was a good example of like individual player mistakes in the attack, kind of in the midfield, that were happening a lot in this game. So I just wanted to clock that. 47th minute, I think this shows. I wanted to talk about this one just because I think it shows if you guys watch this game or you want to like scroll ahead to the 47th minute, tracking around the box, and we kind of see, in my opinion, I've been trying to figure out why St. Louis's defense has been so leaky. And yes, center backs have been a problem, and I think that's pretty obvious. But I think they've been left out to dry at times when things like this happen. It seems like St. Louis is having trouble tracking players around the outside of the box. They'll pass it around. Maybe in this case, Ostrak bites toward somewhat, toward the sideline, and then that pulls Vollum over. And then they pass it one more time, and Dallas just has a guy wide open at the top of the box, and he shoots. It goes right to Berkey. It's no big deal. But this happened a lot. And I feel like it's been happening pretty much since we've had to rely on someone other than Leuven and Durkin playing at the 6th role. And for me, this is the first time I kind of had time to watch it and see it happen in real time. I don't know if you have been noticing that, Santiago, but, I think there's proof of this being somewhat true, having Vollum and Ostrak having to play the dual pivot, not as actual natural 6s, because Leuven comes in and it looks a lot better in the second half.
Agree. Yeah, just not having a natural number 6 has been hurting the team, and yeah, Valim and Ostrak had good moments the last couple of games, but I still think that's a need for the transfer window. A real number 6 that can do the dirty job. Obviously, if Leuven is back and in form, he can be one of those two 6s. But I think the team should be looking for that in the transfer window.
Interesting. So I guess I just hope Durkin will be healthy because I think that's good. But we're going to talk about that anyway. So I'm going to ask you that question kind of later. We'll skip on for now. 48th minute, a lot of chances for St. Louis before the whistle. So that was nice to see, kind of them just being dangerous in the box. It's not always like a deadly XG moment, but we've seen a lot where if St. Louis just kind of gets the ball in the box and keeps taking chances, eventually one of those will go in. That's one of those, like, I want toy shirt on the end of the ball. And I think he was in this moment here, somewhere, the multiple chances right before the half ended. But again, they gave Hartle a cutback pass in that same 13-14 zone. So that was really fun to see them finding him there. Great chance. I can't remember what happened. I think it was a save or a block. So
It was a corner kick, but the
yeah.
referee ended the half right there. Didn't allow City to kick the corner kick.
Yeah. So you're a much more natural long-term soccer fan. So I saw that and I was like, that seems bad to me. I was pretty annoyed by it, and I just thought maybe I was a homer. But that, like, it's natural to give someone one more corner in those situations, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the 3 minutes that have been added had already passed. So
Yeah,
yeah, I guess at that point is this the referee's discretion. So you can go either way. Not a big deal, I guess.
that's fair. First half thoughts, Santi. Any overarching thoughts?
Yeah, the team started well. It's just we have seen these over and over during the season that the team has a good start, and then there is a play that kind of changes things, and the team has had a hard time coming back after the opposing team scores. It happened last week, but not this time around. The adjustment for the second half weren't enough, but yeah, overall a good start. But it's just when the other team scores, it takes a while for the team to react.
Yeah. The good thing is I had hope. I thought Leuven can come in, and last week we came back from this situation. Granted, St. Louis was at home, so but I had hope, and that's a good feeling because I think it's a new feeling actually. That win last week was big, and so maybe we can continue to kind of bring some hope in with some home wins. Yeah, we'll talk about that more. Let's talk about the stats in the first half. The XG was 0.73 to Dallas, 0.36 to St. Louis. Shots on target and shots. So shots were 10-4. And oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really bad at reading stats sometimes. 10-4 in favor of Dallas. 6 of those were on target. 0 on target for St. Louis. Now, one hit at the crossbar. So that's just keep that in mind. Possession 34% to Dallas, 66% to St. Louis. That is not what you want to see if you're a St. Louis fan. Touches in the opponent box 16 to 12 in favor of Dallas. That's somewhat close. And with someone like Peter Musa, that's kind of, I'm fine with that, especially in an away game. But the rest of the stats are a little bit bad. Not something we can't come back from. But the shots on target, I think, is the scariest thing. What do you think, Santi?
Yeah, and just thinking about the possession, City had 66%, but didn't create enough shots on goal. On the other side, Dallas just created enough when they
Mm,
had the ball, and were not only that goal, but they also had another couple of chances where they looked dangerous. So yeah, like and Debbie Chrisley has been talking a lot about winning the field tilt, which is fine. But if you don't cause enough danger when you have so much possession, you could end up with a game like this where the opponent takes advantage of a couple of chances and that ends up taking the game. But yeah, I was hopeful for the second half too, especially because I had a feeling Leuven
mm.
was gonna come in and maybe the team was gonna change the shape and we're gonna see something different.
Yes, I thought so too. So let's get to it. Betcher came off for Leuven. And I was a little surprised at that in some ways, but Betcher was a little bit invisible in that first half. So I think it's totally fair. And so when Leuven came in, my hope was that a winger would come off actually, and I kind of assumed Vollum would go into that area because he's more of a a wide
Hmm.
player naturally anyway. But Ostrak's the one that went wide, and then in
Yeah,
my second, oh, go ahead, you have a thought on that? Go for it.
yeah, I didn't understand that. The natural thing will have been Wallem to go there,
Yeah.
especially because Ostrak had been doing well playing as a defensive midfielder and pairing with Leuven, I think will have been good. They that we saw that pairing early last year before Ostrak's injury, and he did well. That's when he started to show he could play that position. So
Hmm.
I don't know why we went with Ostrak instead of Conrad Wallen, but that was Critchley's decision. But yeah, it was time to make a change with Leuven coming in. We didn't talk a lot about that at the beginning, but I just don't think Betcher's natural position is that, and we keep using him
Hmm.
as a winger. Yeah, it could be out of need because some guys have been injured, and now Celio ended up not being available for this game. He wasn't even on the bench. He was questionable. But I don't know. I would like to see Betcher more on that striker role. See how you can find a way for him to play with Klaus, or but as a winger, definitely not his position.
Yeah, and this is great. We're gonna do a little Matt and Phil situation here because I will defend Critchley in one way. I agree with you. I would have rather seen Vollum play wide. He's much better in wide spaces like Celio is, so I thought it would have been a perfect match. Um, I think Ostrak's ball progression is much better in the middle,
Yeah.
even over Vollum. I just love those things about those two in those positions. But I will say that I think Vollum is much more reliable defensively as a six. And so I think that was just like, if there's one scary thing about St. Louis, maybe you worry about that
Mm,
when
makes
both
sense.
are similar in attack. So that was just my only thought. It happened. Ostrak, we'll go through some more. But Leuven being on, I thought two things happened. Not only did the defense solidify, especially in and around the outside of the box, like I was complaining about, I noticed that Leuven is much better in the attack. Just things work better, and we have some stats to back that up today, actually. So I'm excited to talk about that a little bit. 47th minute, immediately Leuven running at goal with options, the ball at his feet, running into the box. No defender is stepping. So they're just choosing to kind of take away the pass. And so, which is a dangerous move with someone like Leuven. He takes a shot with his left, and I think it went off the woodwork again, right? It went
It
off the
did,
plate.
yeah, it did.
Great moment, immediate change, immediate effect from Leuven. And the effect, I think, stays from that point on as far as solidifying the defense. Um, Not quite enough happening in the attack still, or at least not capitalizing on things. Let's move on, though, unless you have something to say there. 53rd minute, a few chances in the box. Toy Shirt is taken out in the box, it looks like. Toy Shirt dives a lot, so I had to control myself there. Ostrak gets the ball near the end line, and he looks very dangerous. He's looked very dangerous attacking outside as a winger too. So like he's a natural player there. It was a heavy touch and it went out for a throw. So it didn't work out. 54th minute volume. Um, he kind of passes the ball over the back line to Toy Shirt, and it was defended out. A nice moment for Toy Shirt in the box playing where I like to see him. So I wanted to note that. 61st minute, Silva went on for Toy Shirt, and I've not been a fan of Silva, but I think this was a great move for Critchley because Silva came on and just immediately helps in the buildup, which is what I think he's best at. He's fast and scary, but he's also really good at progressing the ball in the midfield. And he and Klaus have some beautiful interplay. The ball eventually works its way to Ostrak, who finds space heading toward the end line. He shoots top left corner. I thought it was a great save from Paz. I think that was going in, and I thought it was going to be a goal for a split second. There were more chances, right? There was like in this interchange, Klaus had a header before that was a decent chance. So Silva coming in was an immediate, really good change of pace, and he did a good job. He was used correctly, which is what I focus on. He had the ball running at goal a couple times, and I thought, oh no, he's going to waste it. But he never like had to do anything important in the final third or in the penalty box. So I think that's how he should be used.
Yeah, and yeah, the fact that he went in and at least helped with chance creation, and the team looked dangerous for a few moments, also leaves you thinking, okay, Celio is out for this game, and I thought maybe we will see Silva as his replacement. There has been a lot of chatter about Silva also being like left winger. Obviously, he hasn't been used much there, so that could have been a natural use for him at the beginning of the game, instead of using in this case it was Betcher, and the team has also been using Toyshar on the other side. So yeah, I will have liked to see more of Silva this season. Maybe the next few games we will see more, but he hasn't had a lot of time, and I don't think he has also been used in his natural position.
That's fair, I think. But in the 76th minute, just keep talking about Silva because he's dribbling at goal and he started to lose it. And I was about to get mad at him, like classic Silva, but
Oh
he
yeah,
worked hard and got that ball back. He worked extremely hard and they created a chance out of it. So I was really glad to see that. I'm starting to like warm up to Silva a little more after his appearance in this one. I like him as a sub. I don't think I would ever start him
mm,
because he got tired the last time he played as a starter or almost a starter. He came in early for an early injury. So that's my thought. In the 69th minute, Watson Reed come on for Ostrak and Totland. And it looks like at this point we're going for it. This happened the first time Orozco came in, I think. He played left back, but then at some point we needed to win, and it became a back three with Orozco playing center back.
mm-hmm.
And so then there were four in the midfield, if you include the wing backs with Reed and Watts. And then the attacking three, however they're positioned, Klaus up top, but, Hartle and Silva were kind of up there as well. I don't know if Silva was a striker or more of a 10. Didn't really seem to matter. He was up there with three of them. So 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to call it. I enjoyed watching this, but it wasn't that effective, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it looked like a good shape, a good way to go for at least the draw, and at least keep some hope about getting a win away. It's something that has not happened in a while since March. But yeah, not dangerous enough. And then Dallas scored a few minutes after that, which I think at that point that was the dagger, and not enough time, and the team not doing enough to show any danger.
Yes, 78th minute goal. In some ways, this was St. Louis not doing well enough. There was a little bit of a weird ball bouncing around, but that happens in soccer, right? It's no big deal. So Farrington had the ball, and he tried to pass it into Musa, and it did get deflected. I would have liked Yarrow to maybe take Farrington out or at least bump him. And he kind of gave him like a foot or two of space without
Hmm.
touching him, without even challenging him. That drove me crazy even before anything happened. And then Baumgartel, after the deflected ball pops up in the air, he's trying to guard Musa. I want to remind you guys, this is the 78th minute. That's going to come into effect later. He just misjudged the entire situation. He wasn't physical enough with Musa. With a quality player like Musa, physicality is something you just have to make part of your game. Strangely, like Baumgartel this is what he was better than any other center back at once he came into the side, like being super physical, jumping high up field to disrupt the play. And he just got everything wrong on this one.
Hmm.
And Musa's good, right? I mean, Musa took a touch after Baumgartel moved or missed, and he just made no mistakes. It's a goal at this point. So it is what it is. It hurts to kind of watch some of the players kind of watching this happen around the box. I guess they assumed Timo had it,
Yeah,
but it was just so casual and gross by so many players. This one really hurt me as a fan to watch.
yeah, but I think you make the assumption that Timo is gonna make the play. But yeah, you have to be aware and be ready if that doesn't happen. Yeah, it was one of those plays. Timo misjusted, and then Musa, if you give him a space and time to put it away, he will do that, and that's what he did. And as I said, that was the dagger for City last night.
Yeah, and I have some quotes that just explain this. Multiple things explain this from Critchley in the presser. One was the Baumgartel was. This is in the post game presser. Baumgartel was only supposed to play 60 minutes, so this is
Oh,
the 78th minute. So he was still hurting. He hasn't played in several weeks. Was mentioned.
right.
So that to me explains the situation for Timo at least. What it doesn't explain is everybody else. And Critchley said this, and in this quote, this is me putting these two instances together, but I don't think it's unfair. Critchley said the mentality was definitely in their favor, Dallas's favor. Performance was in their favor, and obviously the result was in their favor. When I think of St. Louis not putting a shift in, as a professional, I think this play is a little bit embarrassing. You know, you're getting paid a lot of money to do your job. There are high expectations on this level, and that was not it, right? You play a clip of this to anyone you're trying to get transferred to, everybody looks bad. So,
Yeah, yeah. A lot of ball watching,
yeah.
and that has happened a few times this season. And yeah, there are always mistakes that are made, and it happens to other teams too. But it's just like games that are close, like this one, and then you have a play like this that basically that's the end of the game for the team.
Yeah. And just to say again, the defense actually solidified for the most part in the second half. Leuven was in, and I think that was a big part of it. Vollum is, like I said, is a little bit more responsible than Ostrak. They didn't do anything wrong here. It just was like a weird ball pop up, and it's just at this point, it's on your center backs to make a play, which happens. That's normal. I don't think anybody did anything wrong positionally. It's just it was 1v1. It just didn't happen in this case. 82nd minute, I really love seeing this short corner. Leuven put a ball to the far post. It was beautiful. Really nice to see, and we want to see more of that. 86th minute, this kid Sarver, who just scored 4 goals in MLS Next Pro, he's got a million goals. Like, was it 14 goals in 16 games or something like that? He's been incredible playing as a right winger for North Texas. He came on as a reward in the 86th minute, and this kid just was playing on fire.
He was so excited.
Yeah. So he got a penalty. Orozco just got wrong-footed. Unfortunately, kind of posterized Orozco. tough play, tough situation. I think he'll have to learn from this one. But yeah, he got really excited about this PK. Musa buries it. So at this point, it's 3-0. 87th minute, Pierce comes in from Baumgartel. So it's supposed to get 60 minutes. Timo, 87th minute is when he comes out. Nice to see Pierce come on. So I'm happy about that. He goes to the right back position, not center
I,
mid.
I
Just wanted to
wasn't
note that.
happy about. I wasn't happy about that.
Ooh, tell me more. Why?
Why? Because it's the end of the game.
Oh, you wanted
It's
him earlier.
not that I wanted him earlier. It's the end of the game. So you are wasting one of his 6 appearances
Good
while
point.
on loan. So just that. When I saw that, I was like, why is he going in? The game is out of hand. He's gonna play 3-4 minutes, and then that's one of the wasted appearances. And yeah, if Timo, you had already said it. Timo was supposed to play 60 minutes. Maybe at that point, towards the end of the game, he was like, okay, we need to take him up. But you have JGR, you have other guys on the bench. If the game is 3-0, out of hand, just put JGR or someone else
Yeah.
to fill in for the rest of the game. But yeah, to me, I didn't understand why you waste one of his 6 appearances in basically in garbage time with the game out of hand.
That's well said. I'm convinced. You're absolutely right. So that sucks. And I'll just say, to add to that, like, to play kids for the most part, unless you really start to trust them, someone like Joyner, I think you can bring in when you're down a goal. But if you're playing kids like first 5 appearances and they're not comfortable, or they're not like killing, in top level, like, you need to be ahead. Like, you have to be winning a game to start playing these kids comfortably. So that's just something that is true for any developmental team. Like, you have to be able to get ahead in a game to play these players. So that's just to add on to that. But Santi, you nailed it. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Second half thoughts from you. What'd you think?
Well, more of the same.
Yeah.
Good start of the second half. Chance that could have possibly changed the game, but with Dallas, with that low block, as the time passes and you start creating some space because you're desperate to find that equalizer.
Mm.
A play where City should have cleared the ball ends up with Peter Musa scoring because Timo didn't get the ball, and could have been because he was late in the game, and physically, basically, I guess maybe he didn't have what it was needed to be on the field. So he should have been subbed out earlier, and maybe you never know if the game would have been different with
Mm.
someone else in that position.
I mean, JGR would have been fresh, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been nice to see. I'm with you. Stats for the second half. XG is 1.46 to 0.5 in Dallas's favor. 5-11 shots. STL ahead in this one. But 4-2 on shots on target. Dallas got 4 out of their 5 shots on target. So not always dangerous. That's a little misleading, but it is what it is. Possession 38% to 62% in St. Louis's favor. Again, that's not what you want. But when you're chasing, you have to have the ball. It is what it is. Especially if the other team just decides to bunker in, which they did. Field tilt. I apologize. I haven't been able to find just a half worth of final third touches. We'll get to that at the final stats. But the touches in the opponent box, 13 from Dallas, 16 from St. Louis. So again, this is better. I've enjoyed, it seems like Critchley puts a lot of emphasis on touches and final third passes. And Matt's done a really amazing job covering that. It's only his, outline of this notes that I was able to kind of fill in stats that he normally uses. So big ups to Matt on that. Overall stats, let's just put it all together. XG 2.06 to 0.63, 16 shots from each, but Dallas had 10 on target, whereas St. Louis had 2 on target. I think that's where we're seeing a pretty big failure in this game, at least. Possession overall 34% to 66%. Field tilt for the whole game. Passes in the final third 23-40 in favor of St. Louis. It's weird to hear the stats that I just listed and then hear that St. Louis is getting 40 passes into the final third touches in the opponent box, 29-28 Dallas. It's close. And this is an away
Yeah,
game. Like, I find those last two stats encouraging if you were to ignore everything else. But the game went the way it did. So how does that strike you, Santiago?
yeah. A lot of times the stats will tell one story, but in the end, what matters is how you take advantage of the chances you created, of that passes in the final third, or of those touches in the box. And Dallas did a good job with that yesterday. City call it bad luck with the two plays that ended up hitting the post, but yeah, at the end Dallas was the team that scored. City couldn't react, and yeah, you see some progress, you see some good things, but it's just difficult when you cannot get two wins in a row. And yeah, the team mathematically not eliminated, but
Hmm.
it will be a lot of games that it will have to win. And if you haven't gotten a winning streak in 2/3 of the season,
Hmm.
it's gonna. I just don't see it happening, but you never know.
Never know. Just some thoughts to throw into the ether for you guys. I'd be curious what you think. When you look at these stats, the touches in the box, passes into the final third, they look pretty good and they're on their own. But if you have 66% possession, perhaps those stats need to be even better, right? So that's one downside. Another downside, like if you defend and you put up those stats, maybe some of those other, possession looks a little better for St. Louis, or um, maybe maybe the whole game just changes. So that would be another thought, that maybe the defense would, just defending out a game would have perhaps made this game look better, and the stats themselves would have brought St. Louis to the higher end of this, maybe to a win or a draw sort of thing. It's just, a lot of things to kind of think about here when we're looking at the stats. It's not one story. But I'm looking at this passing chart here. Um, and we're seeing just something I don't get much out of these, but I love watching the positioning because we're seeing Tottenham up high, right? And we're seeing all the attackers up high as well, a big space in the middle. And alongside the big space in the middle of the dual pivots, we're seeing Orozco there at left back, right? And so, at times I was kind of trying to figure out, transition defense has been tough for St. Louis, although I think it's getting slightly better every game. And it seems like Orozco is mostly, if we're going to have a back three while we're attacking, sometimes it's two center backs and a six. Sometimes it's two center backs, and in this case, maybe a center back, a defensive minded left back. A lot of times it was Orozco. Sometimes it was a six. It wasn't one idea, right? And it seems like perhaps they're just all watching each other decide who wants to go forward. Um, what did you think about this passing chart, or what you saw from St. Louis in this game?
Yeah, just looking at Totland all the way to the right.
Hmm.
Yeah, playing very high, but he looks kind of isolated. Like like a lot of people in the middle, and yeah, Orozco in that role of third center back when Totland goes to support the attack. We saw that last game too, but just I don't know. I think the team should be more balanced on both sides. In my opinion, I like the idea of the three in the back, but it's still very predictable. Just leaning just basically mostly on that left side for most of the attacking plays.
Yeah. And on top of that, again, Timo was usually amazing at this. If Orozco is going to be in the back three, then you need a center back to just go and disrupt high up field, because it won't be a six, right? So I would have expected Timo to be disrupting play higher a lot in this game, and it wasn't happening. And just to respond to your Totland thought being isolated, I'm actually good with that, because it should be Leuven finding him with those long crosses, those long switches. So I would have liked that, but unfortunately, Tottenham was only found maybe two times really obviously in this game, and I feel like it should have been more. I know it could be on Thomas not getting open. It feels like we don't have a guy constantly switching the ball. That's something that Indy Vassilev used to be really good at. If
Mm-hmm.
Leuven wasn't in, just a random thought there. Watts can be good at it, but anyway, just a thought there. The last thing I wanted to bring up in these charts that we have here is height of defensive actions. So St. Louis was 44.8 meters from our goal. Defending on average, it was 38. I think that is a very skewed number based on Melberg being part of that analysis there, but higher than previous under Melberg. But Critchley in the post match presser criticized the pressing in this game, and the PPDA stat didn't come out early enough this morning for me to get it, but the pressing didn't look good in this game, and it didn't seem like something they were attempting to do a lot of. I will say that away games tend to be that way, whether it's on purpose or not, since Critchley took over. But what were your thoughts?
Well, also you're playing in a 94-degree weather, so
Fair.
that's
Thank you.
also a factor. But yeah, we didn't see that high press last night, whether it was because of the weather or because of the way Dallas played. But I was encouraged in the second half to see Leuven come. He led the team in multiple categories. Just in 45 minutes, he led the team in progressive passes with 10 in just 45 minutes. So hopefully, we will see more of him. He will stay healthy, and yeah, while he was out, Ostrak and Wallem did a good job playing in that double pivot. But having Leuven gives you more options whether he plays with Ostrak or with Wallem, and then one of them plays in their natural role. I would like to see that, but yeah, just not enough last night. The team has played in Dallas three times in these 3 seasons and has yet to score a goal. Two losses, 2-0, and then last night 3-0.
Yes, you covered a lot of good stuff there. I'll just go straight since you mentioned it. My player for the game is Leuven, and it's only because of what you mentioned. We have a lot of stats. I won't go through them all because we need to sprint to the finish here. But Leuven looked as good as the rest of the team, and he played one half instead of two as far as his attacking stats. So massive help. Again, he did help in the defense as well. I want to ask you this, Santi. We've been arguing about different things. I think Leuven is amazing because he can offer more defense and more attack at the same time. Outside of that, I think we're choosing like a player who can attack well but has struggled defensively. Maybe Ostrak, maybe Volum. Durkin. We talked about Durkin at the top of the show. If we have Durkin in this game, I think we lose a lot of attack. But if we can stop one of those goals early in the game, I think that's what Durkin's so good at. And so I'm curious what you think about that situation. Are we afraid to play Durkin because the attack will suffer? Or maybe if we play Durkin, we don't have to play Orozco at left back. We put Reed in from the start. What are your thoughts on this? On each player, are we losing attack? Are we losing defense? What are we worried about? Where do we pick our weaknesses, I guess?
Yeah, Dorkin is definitely a disruptor, but he has also shown that he can support the attack when needed. So I don't think you will lose anything if you had Dorkin and Leuven playing in that double pivot. It could even they can even rotate, and sometimes Leuven can have more freedom and also support the attack. But
Hmm.
it's just that like Dorkin not healthy. Leuven also wasn't available for some games. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Dorkin if he comes back later in the season. But I still think that defensive midfielder position is one need for the team.
I think you could be right. I think when Blom came in, I was extremely excited because we could just have a shutdown guy back there. And that could be JGR, that could be Durkin. Maybe it needs to be a new player. I'm interested in all of those thoughts and options. Two things I want to do before we leave. One is the bad, and then I want to leave you guys with some hope for the future. The bad is that St. Louis moves to 4-13-6 on the year, 18 points in 23 games, tied with the Galaxy for last place. So this has now become, unfortunately, a race to not be on the bottom. They have 2
Wait,
more points than Galaxy. Oh,
yeah,
did I miss
yeah,
something? Okay, so
yeah.
we are
Galaxy had
still.
16.
Yeah, I said tied, but sorry. Yeah, we're 2 points higher than the Galaxy. So yeah, just trying not to be in last place is kind of the goal for the rest of the season, which is incredibly depressing. Also depressing, Dallas and Kansas City are above STL with 25 and 24 points accordingly. That's 6 and 7 points above us. So like I said at the top, it's no longer close, right? We're not talking about 1, 2, 3 points away. Now they have a giant lead in front of us. So any thoughts on that before we kind of end with maybe some good thoughts?
Yeah, it is a big gap. Yeah, mathematically it's still possible, but when you think about it, so Dallas with that win, they got to 25 points. They are 4 points away from ninth position. But you look at the table and the last few games, City played Real Salt Lake, Houston, and Dallas. 3 games against teams that were kind of in the same situation, needing to win a lot of games, needing to get a lot of points. 0 points out of those 3 games, and you look at a Real Salt Lake that after that win against City, they won a couple more, 3 consecutive wins. They lost last night, but they are now in the conversation. So it's possible if you get a string of wins, like 3 or 4 in a row, you get back in the conversation. But we're running out of chances, and it's gonna be from 11 games, 33 points possible. Getting 25 to 27 points is gonna it's a big task. But obviously, you keep fighting, trying to get a win the next game, one game at a time. But it's just now it has become the gap is very wide, and it'll be difficult to close it.
Agree. Santi, I always appreciate your thoughts on the table. You watch it much better than I do. So I always look forward to those comments. Thank you so much. I want to leave you guys with just some positivity here, and that is, and I'll give you one last thought here, Santi, before we go. You look at the 2 goals, and one is, I think we kind of, like we said, Ostrak and Ballum just getting lost, biting too hard around the box or not following the runner in. When Leuven came in, that improved, right? So one positive thought is, what will we look like if we have Leuven in an entire game? And when we looked at the projected lineup you guys did, I was so happy to see it. I missed it because I was on vacation in the middle of nowhere. But starting Leuven, Vollum, and Ostrak in the same lineup is encouraging. That's something I would love to see. So I think we're getting there, right? To see all 3 of those players perhaps start. And then someone like Betcher coming in late. Silva, I'm excited about coming in late. Or maybe we don't start Toy Shirt if we aren't able to get him touches inside the box. He did get 5 in this one, which is up there for the top. So I wanted to give them credit. They're still trying to find Toy Shirt in the box. So we'll just keep monitoring that. So that's one. One goal was caused by the 6, not being solid. And so Leuven playing 90 minutes would be massively helpful there. Maybe hope for Durkin in the future or a new player, like you said. Last good thought. The other goal happened. A tired Timo Baumgartel, just 1v1 center back versus an 8-figure DP player in Musa. Fayu Fall is on the way, right? So this could be hope for the future that we do have Kessler still. Do we hang out with Nilsson if he stays healthy for a whole season? We're not counting on that, but this might have been a better situation if Nilsson was healthy and playing. Baumgartel, if he was healthy and wasn't playing, 30, 40, 20, 30 minutes longer than he was supposed to, would that have looked different? So quality center back play. This is something Matt Doyle identified, and I think he was dead on. And I think this game just absolutely proves the fact that center backs have been a problem this year. Just like last year, we haven't had the same pairing all effing year. And on top of that, the pairing needs to be better. Unfortunately, we've figured that out. So I think if we address these problems, or we get people healthy to address these problems, I think this team looks fine, if not good. What do you think, Santi? The final thought from you.
Yeah. You can, yeah, a lot of ifs. If this guy was healthy, yeah, that's always a big if. But yeah, maybe with Fall coming in, things will get better at that center back position. Hopefully, he will stay healthy and have a consistent partner. and the team will build from these last 11 games of the season. Like the transfer window officially starts on the 24th, so depending on all his paperwork, he may be available. I'm not sure if he'll be available for that Minnesota game, but maybe for that friendly against Aston Villa, we'll be able to see some of these new signings and build from there. But yeah, it's been you mentioned it, like a center back the last year and a half, like a lot of injured guys, and you don't have a consistent pairing. So hopefully with this acquisition, this can change for the rest of the season, and then looking into the 2026 season.
Absolutely. Other reinforcements perhaps on the way, and we will dig into what we didn't cover too much, which is I guarantee we're going to be talking a lot about Critchley and the job he's been doing so far. Is he good, or are we just beaten down because Mellberg was so bad and Critchley is actually functional? Some thoughts to leave you with. Thank you guys for listening. For Santiago, I'm Phil. Thanks for, we'll talk to you next time. See ya.
Vamos City.
All right. Sorry, I went a little long. Are you okay?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Do you guys sometimes go 55 minutes or not really? Do you keep it 30, 45?
No, usually that's what we usually do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're always a little more positive in the actual show. I was both surprised and like I felt better that you were pretty upset about this game because that's how I felt too.
Yeah. Just one of those, and it's like I get to a point where, to me, this was like the make it or break it game, just because of where we were in the table, the opponent, and just didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, to the chat, I'm sorry. When I host and I have so much information to go through, I don't always read your guys' chat, but thank you so much for being here. I've really appreciated all the interaction, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Matt will be back, and I think we'll have a little bit more normalcy going forward. Bye, everybody.
All right.